This section is polyhalogen compounds, the last section of this chapter. Polyhalogen compounds means there are more than one halogens, dihalogen, trihalogen, tetrahalogen, those compounds. And these have actually use in day-to-day life and medicine also. So that's why these are important. The first one is dichloromethane. Dichloromethane means CH2Cl2. There are two chlorines in methane, then it will be dichloromethane, also named as common name methylene chloride. So you need to remember whether we call it dichloromethane or methylene chloride. Students get confused because it is ene group, probably there can be double bond. But if it is just one carbon, how can be there a double bond? Methyl means just one carbon. So dichloromethane, the normal usage are it is used as organic solvent, paint remover also. Sometimes you might see that paint some from somewhere we need to remove the paint. We can use dichloromethane. Divya, good evening. And propellant in aerosol because these are highly unreactive. Okay? So these can be used in propellant as aerosol to create the pressure, okay, there, and mix the perfume with these compounds, and then with pressure these come out. So that's why these are used in propellant in aerosol. Then process solvent in manufacture of drugs. So these are used as solvent. This is something same thing, solvent in manufacture of drugs. Metal cleaning and finishing solvents also. So these actually clean the surfaces of metals, and finishing solvent means make the surfaces smooth. So there are the usage of dichloromethane. This dichloromethane or methylene chloride harms the human central nervous system. So it's very bad if anybody consumes methylene chloride. Very dangerous. Exposure to low levels of methylene chloride in air can lead to slightly impaired hearing and vision. You can feel dizziness if lower level. Higher level can impact the nervous system. Higher levels of methylene chloride in air causes dizziness, nausea, tingling, numbness in finger and toes. But if you consume, very dangerous. In humans, direct skin contact with methylene chloride causes intense burning and mild redness of skin. Redness is not that great, so it will not be visible that the color changes, but burning will be intense. Direct contact with the eyes can burn the cornea, permanent damage. Next is chloroform. Now you have three chlorines. So trichloromethane, that's why. Used as solvent for fats. The previous one also has solvent, but that was mainly solvent for medicinal purposes, for production of drugs, etc. Medicines. Here, solvent for fats, alkaloids, iodine, and other substances. We are talking about chloroform. In the production of freon refrigerant R22. So freon refrigerant means the compound which is used in refrigerators for cooling. It was earlier used as a general anesthesia also in surgery, but it has been replaced by less toxic, safer anesthesia like ether. It used to cause harm. And what were those harms? Inhaling chloroform vapors depresses the central nervous system. Again, bad for central nervous system, similar to methylene chloride. Not as bad as methylene chloride. Methylene chloride is very dangerous. Breathing about 900 parts of chloroform per million, okay, that is ppm, 900 ppm. For a short time can cause dizziness, fatigue, and headache. So the limit is 900 ppm. Chronic chloroform exposure may cause, chronic means for long term. Long term exposure to chloroform may cause damage to the liver, and to the kidneys, and some people develop sores when the skin is immersed in chloroform. So it will not cause immense burning or redness, but sometimes if the skin is immersed, if the hand is immersed in the solution, then obviously may develop sores. But if it is consumed or long exposure with chloroform, even a small quantity but long exposure, it can damage liver and kidney. This one is very important, and from here, question appears. Chloroform is slowly oxidized by air. This is very slow process. It is not that if you keep the chloroform in air within 1 minute, it will get converted into phosgene. No, it is slow reaction. So if chloroform is kept open in air, this gets converted or gets oxidized into phosgene, and phosgene is COCl2, very, very toxic gas, very, very toxic gas. Just write the reaction when I attend the call. So this important reaction is there. And this question appears that how can you prepare phosgene? Simple question. Or it will appear as indirect question also. A toxic gas is produced when subjected to oxidation. That is also phosgene, you need to remember. Along with HCl is produced. HCl is also a gas. Both are gases here. It is related to chloroform. Next is triiodomethane. Now, instead of chlorine, three chlorines, there are three iodine. So instead of CHCl3, CHI3. And very important because iodoform reaction we will be talking about, just in organic chemistry in next chapters. You need to remember very important iodoform, CHI3. It was used earlier as antiseptic, but the antiseptic properties are due to the liberation of free iodine. So iodine is liberated, that acts as antiseptic. So itself, iodoform is not antiseptic. Rather, when it is applied on a skin, iodine is liberated, that iodine is antiseptic. So due to its objectionable smell, it has been replaced by other formulation containing iodine. Iodoform has very bad foul smell, rotten egg-like smell. So that's why now other compounds which liberate iodine are used instead of iodoform. Still, iodine acts as antiseptic there. Next is now you have four chlorines instead of three, CCl4, carbon tetrachloride or tetrachloromethane. It is used in the manufacture of refrigerants and propellants for aerosol as feedstock in the synthesis of chlorofluorocarbons. Feedstock means as raw material. And other chemicals, pharmaceutical manufacturing, and general solvent use. Main thing you just need to understand, CCl4 has very limited usage in real world, but you will be using CCl4 with bromine. And if we have time, we will do the questions. And you will see that with bromine, when CCl4 is used, then it actually creates dihalides, vicinal dihalides. And that is very, very important conversion reaction. Carbon tetrachloride, there is some evidence that exposure to carbon tetrachloride causes liver cancer in humans. So the direct contact should be avoided. The most common effects are dizziness, lightheadedness, nausea, vomiting, which can cause permanent damage to nerve cells as well. Most of these, and remember, if it is asked as usage, most of these compounds uh, basically have impact on nervous system. So that use you can remember with every such compound, all these compounds, multi-halogen compounds. Exposure to CCl can make the heartbeat irregular or stop also if in excess. So liver cancer, irregular heartbeat, or even it can stop the heartbeat. When carbon tetrachloride is released into the air, it rises to the atmosphere and depletes the ozone layer also. So it is again responsible for depletion of ozone layer. Next section is freons. What are freons? Freons are chlorofluorocarbon compounds. Means you have chlorine and fluorine both of methane and ethane are collectively known as freons. So for example, if you have CCl2F2, it's a freon. Instead of 4 hydrogens, now you have 2 chlorines and 2 fluorines. So for example, Freon 12, it has been given name Freon 12, CCl2F2, is one of the most common freons in industrial use. It is manufactured from tetrachloromethane, means CCl4, by Swartz reaction. You know Swartz reaction is interhalogen reaction and okay, halogen exchange reaction. So where 2 chlorines are replaced by fluorine, not all. That is a specific reaction. So from CCl4, CCl2F2 is produced using freons are extremely stable, unreactive, non-toxic, non-corrosive, and easily liquefiable gases. The freons are gases extremely stable. Extremely stable itself means these are unreactive. Okay? These are used in aerosol propellant, refrigeration, air conditioning purposes, etc. Most freons, even that used in refrigeration, eventually make its way into the atmosphere where it diffuses unchanged into the stratosphere. In a stratosphere, freons are able to initiate a radical chain reaction and can upset the natural ozone balance. So that's why these are also responsible for depletion of ozone layer. Freons I am talking about. Freons are responsible for depletion of ozone layer. Next one is PP-dichloro-diphenyl trichloroethane, which is DDT. You must have heard this name, DDT. Okay. So this is diphenyl trichloro E. From here it is DDT. You will understand why it is written as PP dash. Obviously, it is para position, both, but to differentiate one para position from other para position, the other para position is termed as P dash. DDT is the first chlorinated organic insecticide. So it was the first insecticide of halogens, mainly chlorine. DDT was used for its effectiveness against the mosquito that spread malaria and lice that carry typhus. So basically, malaria and typhus, these are the diseases. Name of diseases also. In typhus, there is the red skin, high fever, the symptoms. Many species of insects developed resistance to DDT, and it was also discovered to have a high toxicity towards fish. So DDT is not metabolized very rapidly by animals. Instead, it is deposited inside their body and stored in the fatty tissues. So DDT is not metabolized, means is not digested through the digestive systems of the animals. And that's why it keeps on depositing in the fatty tissues of animals. If ingestion continues at a steady state, DDT builds up within the animal over time, and it can eventually create diseases. It can kill the animals. Now, the structure of DDT, and this one is important, that's why I have included. So that's why if you see why it is written PP dash at one para position and another para position. So if this para position is P, this is considered as P dash. There are two chlorophenyl. Okay. So if you see here, you have two carbons here. So this is ethane. That's why it is called ethane. So if you see the name is actually ethane. So coming back here, now you have two these structures, and these structure, if you say one structure, this is chlorophenyl. This is another chlorophenyl. So these are two, but two different para positions. So it is actually para chlorophenyl. This is also para chlorophenyl, but to differentiate, this is written as P dash. So when we combine these two, we write P dash diphenyl, dichlorophenyl. Okay. At para positions, you have chlorine. So instead of dichlorophenyl, you write dichlorodiphenyl because you have two phenyls also. So you write P dash dichloro diphenyl. I am writing D capital intentionally, however, it should not be okay. Diphenyl. Then you have three chlorines. So you write trichloro and two carbons. So you write ethane. So that's the full name, PP dash dichloro diphenyl trichloro ethane, DDT. That completes haloalkanes and haloarenes. So now we need to start questions for practice. The first question here is, how will you bring about the following conversion? Means you need to convert ethanol to ethyl fluoride. You need to convert ethanol to ethyl fluoride. Now, the moment you see fluoride here, it means there will be Schwarz reaction, halogen exchange reaction. It means here you first need to convert it to some other, may C2H5Cl. From C2H5Cl, you can have Schwarz reaction and you can convert it to other halide, that is fluoride. And this conversion, there are many ways to convert alcohol to alkyl halide. These are the preparation methods we talked about. Okay, so you can get it reacted with SOCl2. Yes, one correct. Good. So first step will be conversion of alcohol to halide, specifically chloride or bromide, and then chloride or bromide will be converted to fluoride by Schwarz reaction. So here you can use PCl5 also, SOCl2 also, HCl with zinc also. Next, how will you bring about this conversion? Bromomethane to propanone. And this one is very typical conversion, so pay attention. Bromomethane means methane will be CH4, bromomethane will be CH3Br, and you have to convert it to propanone, means CH3, C carbonyl group CH3. This is a ketone. You have to add this thing to it. CH3 is already there. You have to add this thing. And now this is typical because whenever you have to convert these type of conversion and you have to bring in the ketone and memorize this thing, many of a times, that is 80% times, you will use Grignard reagent. Because Grignard reagent will bring in OMGBr, and this OMGBr can be converted into ketonic group. This can be converted into this very easily. So in all such cases, think about Grignard reagent, and that's why when we covered Grignard reagent, I said that it will be used quite a few times extensively in conversions. But how do we convert this one to this one? Can we convert this directly to this thing in this case? Now, first understand when we talked about reaction of alkyl halide, that is say RCH2Br, and get it reacted with R dash MgBr. You remember that? And I said that in this case, suppose I write it here R and I say this is CS3Br, just for simplicity, we have CS3Br. And I said that this MgBr is actually positive in this case, this one is negative because magnesium is highly electropositive. This is a metal. Carbon is not that much electropositive. So that's why alkyl part of the Grignard agent is negative. And that's why this gets connected here. Okay. And OH. So now if we consider, and the reaction will be similar here, okay, not the exact, it will be similar. But the first question is whether you can get direct one step or you need to change it further. So the answer is first you need to change further because you need one more carbon. For that you get it reacted with KCN. I'll explain it two times so that you can understand why I am doing so. First, I get it reacted with KCN, and the reason is, as I explained, okay, because you should have nitrogen or oxygen already when you get reacted with CH3 and GBr. And this is something, these things you have to memorize. How the reaction will take place. This part will be positive, this part will be negative. Negative. Okay. Now positive part will get connected to electronegative, that is nitrogen of the triple bond. Sorry. And negative part will get connected to electropositive part of Cl, because this will be polar bond. There will hardly be any charge on this carbon. This part will be polar. This is electropositive, this is electronegative. So the negative part here will attack on positive part, and positive part will attack on negative part. So that's why you will get this compound, intermediate compound. This can be converted to ketone by simply acidic hydrolysis. This is actually acidic hydrolysis. H2O plus few drops of acid. Acidic hydrolysis will convert this to propanone. This group will be converted to O. Okay. Now going back, bromomethane to propanone. You have CH3Br and you have to convert it to CH3COCH3. So first of all, understand that if you get it directly reacted with Grignard reagent, this already has Br, there will be no reaction. Halide, halide. Okay, nothing will happen. So first you need to convert it into a polar bond, something polar bond. And that's what you need. You need one carbon here extra. So for that, you will get it reacted with KCN. And remember, KCN is one of the compounds for accession of series. What is accession of series? Means you need to increase the number of carbon atoms. You can increase the number of carbon atoms by getting reacted with KCN. CN will be attached with alkyl group, and that can be oxidized further to acid also, carboxylic acid. So this, for example, here, CH3CN, if you get it oxidized, you will get CH3COOH. So if you had to convert it to methyl bromide to acetic acid, this would have been the way. You have to increase one carbon, you increased one carbon by KCN, and then oxidation. But here we need to increase one carbon. After that, we need to get carbonyl group. For this carbonyl group, the best way will be you get it reacted with Grignard agent. But how many carbons you need extra? You need one carbon extra. So it means Grignard agent will be CH3 MgBr. It will have only one CH3. This CH3 will get attached to carbon, and MgBr will get attached to nitrogen. So it will be CH3C, and to this carbon you have CH3 attached, and then you have nitrogen. To this nitrogen you will have MgBr attached. Remember, initially it had a triple bond here, but because MgBr is to be connected, so one bond was broken, and that converted to double bond, and the other bond used to connect to MgBr. Then after that, you will do acidic hydrolysis, and this NMGBr group will get converted to oxygen. Memorize this conversion, extensively used in questions in board exams. The last part is very important, last step. Write this reaction 3 times in your notebook, rough notebook, right now. Don't hesitate to write. In chemistry, if you just say read it and think that it's done, it's not done at all. Next one, ethane to bromoethene. This one is very interesting conversion. Ethane to bromoethene. Remember, it is not bromoethane. Otherwise, it was just single step. You have to convert CH3 to CH2 double bond CHBr, bromoethene. So first step will be converted to bromoethane first. CH3, CH3. How you can convert it to CH3, CH2Br? You get attracted with HBr. Is that correct? Can you do that this conversion by HBr? Tell me yes or no. She has given me correct answer. Can you do this conversion by HBr? Okay, Shashwat correct. Vanna correct. Okay, no, because in that case, hydrogen will also get attached. Here you don't have hydrogen. Here you have only bromine and hydrogen actually going away, one hydrogen. So you can't do this conversion by HBr. It is monochlorination. Monochlorination. Okay. Monohalogenation. Here monobromination. Monohalogenation. Monohalogenation is done by the halide with UV light or heat. That's how you will get it done by bromine. Okay, not HBr. After that, you have to convert it to alkene. Alkene. Okay. So how you convert that to alkene? Dehydrohalogenation. You will have to remove one hydrogen from here, one bromine from here. And dehydrohalogenation is done by what? Alcoholic KOH. You will get CH2 double bond CH2. Okay. CH2 double bond CH2. Then one very important thing, basically, I'm just showing it. Okay. Then one very important point is that after this one, I told you that we will be using this one. Carbon tetrachloride with bromine will give you vicinal dihalide. In one of the previous slides, when we were talking about multi-halogen compounds, I told about this when we were talking about CCl4. With bromine, it will give you vicinal dihalides. Very important usage, very important conversion here. Okay. So this reaction is actually called reaction with bromine in presence of CCl4. So CCl4 actually acts as a solvent here, solvent for bromine. And you get vicinal dihalide. But what you need CH2 double bond CHBr. It means you need to remove bromine from one end and hydrogen from one end. If you remove hydrogen, say if you remove bromine from here and hydrogen from here, removed, it is what? It is dehydrohalogenation. And how you do dehydrohalogenation? Alcoholic QH. So again get attracted with alcoholic QH. It will remove hydrogen from one, bromine from the other, and you will get bromoethene. See all the steps. Try to understand why we have done so. Four-step conversion. So this comes in lengthy conversions. Here, two times we have done dehydrohalogenation, and dehydrohalogenation is done by AOH alcoholic KOH. So two steps are actually same, not same but similar basically. Dehydrohalogenation. Write these conversions quite a few times so that if it appears in your examination, you can quickly recall and write the answer. Next, propene to 1 nitropropane. Propene to 1 nitropropane. Now, again, very simple thing. You can actually get CH3, CH2, CH2, Cl, and then you can replace this chlorine by this nitro group. Okay? And it is very easy. Instead of chlorine, if you have Br, this can be done by HBr and peroxide. HBr and peroxide will be anti-Markovnikov. Bromine will get attached to that carbon, which has greater number of hydrogen, means it will get attached to this carbon, not the middle one. If peroxide was not there, then it would have connected to this carbon. But we need carb on the corner, the halogen on the corner, because NO2 group is on the corner. So we will use peroxide. Now this conversion, this for this conversion, I will show you a table which I asked you to memorize. That's this one. That the reaction of haloalkanes, if you want to replace this X by NO2 group, there are two ways. Either you get reacted with KNO2 or AgNO2. If you get reacted with KNO2, oxygen will get attached to R. But here you need nitrogen to be attached to R because your product is CH3, CH2, CH2. This is R. So this is RNO2. So it means you will get it reacted with AgNO2, not KNO. So first will be reaction with HBr in presence of peroxide will give you 1 degree alkyl halide. Then you will get it reacted with AgNO2 so that nitrogen gets attached to the alkyl group, not oxygen. Yes, Ashi, that is ambident nucleophile, correct. NO2 is ambident nucleophile. It can get attached either by oxygen or nitrogen. If reacted with AgNO2, nitrogen gets attached. Propene to 1 nitropropane. This is the conversion. Next, how will you bring about the following conversion? Toluene to benzyl alcohol. First, draw the structures. Toluene to benzyl. Benzyl group is CH2 group attached to the benzene, and alcohol means OH. And this is conversion, you can do that. First, you can introduce halogen here. Means CH2Br or CH2Cl. And then you can replace halogen by OH. That is something you have been doing quite a few times. Yes, Vanna, you are right, correct. Okay. So this is monochlorination again. You are replacing one hydrogen by one chlorine or one bromine, whatever you want. Okay. So you will get attracted with chlorine, okay, in presence of UV light, monochlorination. Remember, this is not aryl chloride. This is alkyl chloride. And in alkyl chloride, monochlorination is done like this. So chlorine is attached to CH2 group, not directly to the benzene ring. So this is simply alkyl halide. Now you can convert this chlorine group to OH if you get it reacted with simply NaOH, not alcoholic, because alcoholic is not used here. Okay. So that's what you have done in this table also. If you want to replace the halogen by OH group, means alcohol, you have to get it reacted with NaOH or QH. Simple, not alcoholic. Means aqueous NaOH or aqueous QH. So these are the reactions. So this is not alcoholic, that is a misprint here. Yes, Ashi, that is the first step, correct. Toluene to benzyl chloride to benzyl alcohol. Second step, I see. Second step, I see. I don't get you. Yes, you are right. In that case, in this particular case, first chlorine will go away. So carbocation will be formed. Yes. Divya, in first step, you can write heat also. Okay, only heat. But I would still advise, because UV light clearly is clearly visible to your teachers. So it is advisable that instead of just heat, you write UV light. However, you are right. Even if you just write heat, this reaction will happen. Next, propene to propine. Okay. Typical type of conversion where we will use NaNH2. Okay. So just first, these type of conversions, I would suggest that you memorize. The first step you have done already. From alkene, if you get it reacted with bromine in presence of carbon tetrachloride CCl4, you get vicinal dihalides. So this step you should memorize. From alkene, that is double bond, if you get it reacted with bromine and carbon tetrachloride, you get vicinal dihalide. And this is a test for unsaturation also, because it gives orange color. Okay, it gives orange color. So that's why it's a test of double bond unsaturation also. And it's a very good and used conversion from alkene to vicinal dihalide. After that, you can convert vicinal dihalide to triple bond. Remember, vicinal dihalide, if you get converted to double bond, that is CH3CH double bond CHBr. This is something we have done in previous case. Then you will use dehydrohalogenation, that is KOH, alcoholic KOH. You remember that? This one. If you have to convert vicinal dihalide to alkene, that is bromo, ethene. It is not ethane here, it is misspelled, it is ethene. Then you will use alcoholic QH. But if you want to introduce triple bond, means you have to remove one hydrogen and one bromine from here. And after that, you need to remove hydrogen and this bromine also. Means you need to remove both HBr. This one, HBr, and this one, HBr. Then triple bond will be introduced. And that is done by NaNH2. So here, if you get it reacted with NaNH2, triple bond will be introduced here. All bromines and two hydrogen and two bromines will go away. If you get it reacted with alcoholic QH, then dehydrohalogenation will appear. One hydrogen and one bromine will go away only. Reaction with NaNH2 in presence of liquid ammonia will remove both bromines and two hydrogens, and triple bond will be introduced. So write this reaction again 3 times in your notebooks before I move forward. And memorize that vicinal dihalide can be converted to double bond and triple bond. In double bond, obviously one halogen will remain there. In triple bond, both halogens will go away along with two hydrogen. During practice, this information will be required, this knowledge will be required. Next, convert but 1 into but 2 in. Very important, and this is used as as part of bigger conversion also. So but 1 in means you have CH3, CH2, CH double bond CH2. This is but 1. You have to convert it to but 2 in means CH3, CH double bond CH3. It means you have to shift double bond from here to here. And the best way to do it, that break it this break this double bond in such a way that you introduce halogen here and hydrogen here. So it means you can get it reacted with HBr. Okay, and it should be as per Markov-Nikov rule because you need bromine attached here. Why you need bromine here? Because you need to switch double bond from here to here. That's why. The common carbon should have bromine. I'll tell you why later on. So first you will get it reacted with HBr. And as per Markov-Nikov rule, bromine will get attached here and hydrogen will get attached on the terminal carbon. Now you have choice for dehydrohalogenation. For dehydrohalogenation, bromine will remove from here, get removed from here. And there are two possibilities. Either hydrogen will get removed from here or from here. I told you as per Sets-Zepf rule, hydrogen will get removed from which carbon? This carbon or this carbon? There are two possibilities, okay? One is this, another one is CH3, CH2, CH double bond, CH2. You get again the same thing. There is a possibility that bromine goes from here, hydrogen goes from here. Obviously, dehydrohalogenation is with alcoholic QH, you know that. But as per Sets-Zepf rule, that alkene will be preferred which has greater number of alkyl groups on the doubly bonded carbons. Okay, so products can be produced both, but here doubly bonded carbons, these two, here there is no alkyl group attached to this carbon, but to this carbon, you have one alkyl group attached. So the doubly bonded carbons have only one alkyl group. However, in this case, second case, you have two alkyl groups attached to carbons of the double bond. It means this one will be major. Quite a few answers I'm getting. Yes, correct. Ashipanna, Shashwat, correct. Yeah. So as per Fetzer rule, that alkene will be preferred which has greater number of alkyl groups on doubly bonded carbons. And that's what we need. So that will be the conversion. Write down the reactions. Next conversion. 1 chlorobutane to N octane. Now a hint here is 1 chlorobutane has 4 carbons, octane has 8 carbons, double the carbons. The hint is very clear. Which reaction you can use here? Okay, one not good. Ashi, good. Everyone needs to be involved. Don't just sit back, right? Be involved, be active. Answer in the chat window. Which particular reaction, named reaction you can use here? Double the carbons. Shashwat, correct. Don't just sit back, be involved because this is 12th grade board examination. You have to be active right from now. Okay. So double the carbon, the first thing, and hydrocarbon again, alkane. Alkane with double the carbons means Wurtz reaction. So 1 chlorobutane means CH3, CH2, 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 Cl. You have to convert it to CH3, CH2, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, CH3, 8. So it means this is just the Wurtz reaction. You get it reacted with the sodium metal and another molecule with dry ether. Two NaCl will go away and these two will combine. Remaining alkyl groups will combine to form alkane. Yes, Ahan, Preeta, correct. Be active. And that will ensure that you get maximum marks in chemistry. If you remain involved, that will pay. You can't do everything in just last 1 month. It will be very difficult. So remain involved every time. That will help a lot. So this is Wurtz reaction. And next one, benzene to biphenyl. Again, in benzene, you have how many phenyl groups? One. And in biphenyl, you have how many phenyl groups? Two. So Tell me the name of the reaction which you can use here. Everyone, tell me the name of the reaction. Yeah, yes, correct. Shashwat, correct. Divya, correct. Good. Han, correct. Just check the spelling, but you know it. Correct. Manna, correct. Arohi, correct. Good. Yes, that is okay. So because these are both aryl, you will say fatigue reaction. Okay. So first you will convert, and you can't directly have fatigue reaction with aryl halide. So first you will convert this to halide. Okay. So convert this to halide reaction with bromine and iron with dark. Remember, this is aryl compound. So aryl compound halogenation, okay, monohalogenation is done in presence of iron and dark. In for alkyl halide, it was bromine and UV light or heat. For aryl halide, it will be bromine in presence of iron and dark. So you will get bromobenzene. After that, you get it reacted with sodium in presence of dry ether. This is the Fittig reaction. It is similar to Wurtz reaction, but instead of alkyl halide, we use aryl halide. That's the only difference.